Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome for another video. It's your boy KNX here for another video, and welcome. I was basically working on a material in Blender, and I found out a really cool material to show you. I was literally playing around with nodes and stuff like that, and literally created a really cool material that you guys can use for your own models. I will show you a lot of examples to use this material, so I hope you guys like this video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and to give a like. I have seen that a lot of you guys are not subscribed to the channel, so if you want to become a part of this family, don't forget to subscribe the channel. And if you want to support me, go check it out my Patreon page, where you have a lot of access to behind the scenes content like the blend file. You have early access to my tutorials, to the videos that will be uploaded to YouTube, and not just that, because I'm doing a lot of projects like giveaways for only Patreon. Don't forget to go check it out. Alright guys, and with no further ado, let's go to Blender. Here we are in Blender, and right now I'm gonna show you a really cool effect or material, you can call it whatever you want. Today I'm gonna show you a really cool effect or a really cool material that creates a really amazing effect for your own models. I'm gonna click Shift A, I'm gonna add a UV sphere, Control 2 or Control 3 or 4 to add the subdivision levels that you want. I only want 2 levels of subdivision, so I'm gonna click Control 2. And let's go to the modifiers, and over here just click Control A to apply the modifier. Let's go to the shading panel, where we're gonna do all the magic, guys. So let's go to the shading panel. Here in the shading panel, we're gonna add a new material. Of course, let's add a new material. I don't even know how to call this material, because I don't even know what is this material. I just created this material, and it looks really cool, and it has a lot of stuff that you can play with. So today I'm gonna show you that really cool material, and I don't even know what will be the title of this video, but that's another problem for another time. Let's delete this principal BSTF. Right now let's put this a little bit bigger, and we're gonna use a really cool effect that will be with Voronoi textures and with some layer weights. If you don't know what is the layer weight, go check it out my ghost effect video. You have here a card, just click it and you're gonna go to the ghost effect video, where I explain better what is a layer weight and what does that node in Blender. Alright guys, so first of all let's add here a mix shader, because we're gonna mix two shaders. First of all, we're gonna mix an emission shader. So let's add here an emission shader. In here, in this emission, let's plug this emission to our second shader input. And over here, what we can do, it's basically, we can add here an image texture. If you want this image texture, you can go to my Patreon page. There you have this tutorial where I have there all of the image and models that I use for this tutorial. If you want to use the same models and the same image, go check it out my Patreon page. And for right now I'm gonna use like a rainbow image, but you can only use the color of this emission, doesn't make any difference. So if you don't want to use an image texture, you can use only the color of the emission. I will use an image texture, and I will show you without the image texture. So right now let's click Shift A, S to search, and let's search for an image texture node. Let's bring this over here. Right now what we can see in here in the UV editing, we only have one part of the rainbow. This part is only black, so you need to select your object and click tab, and over here in this tab mode just click A to select everything and just move it only to the part that we want. So let's just scale this down, move over here, and in this UV editing we only have X and Y axis. So if you want to move up, you use the Y axis, and if you want to move to the side, you use the X axis. Alright guys, right now let's just scale this a little bit down. Doesn't make any difference doing these changes to our model. So let's go to this shading, and now we have the rainbow effect, but it's not working very well. First of all, let's go to the Eevee, and I'm gonna show you how to create this material in Eevee and in Cycles, because it works for the two engines. So let's activate here the ambient occlusion and the bloom. Alright, and let's bring this a little bit up, like 15 or 13. So what we need to do now, we're gonna create a hole in the center of our sphere. So for that we need to use a layer weight. Let's add over here a color ramp, plug it in the factor, and the factor of the color ramp will plug in our layer weights. Alright guys, plug the facing to the factor, and now we have a simple hole over there. but if we bring this up we have a bigger hole. Let's bring this like over here, and right now we can have like this rainbow effect. This is a really cool rainbow and it's done, but that's not the effect. If you want to create rainbows, this is the way. You can use it just like that, but I will go a step further and I will show you a really cool mix of two effects. So right now we have an image texture and I'm gonna add another texture that will be a Voronoi texture. Shift A, S2, search and Voronoi texture. Let's go over here, put this in 4D and this in F2, and right now we need to plug the color to our shader and you're gonna see what happens here. We don't want this because right now it will use this layer weight to put the same color into our Voronoi texture. We don't want that, so to change that, let's just add here a color ramp. Right now you can see that we are using a different color for the center of this effect. So right now we have a really cool effect going on. In here, let's just make some changes. Here I want to put this in like -3. Alright, you can see what happens. It's basically just changing the way that we see the Voronoi texture. I will put this in 3 because that was what I used to create this effect. And here in the detail, doesn't really matter. I will put this in 6, doesn't really matter. Randomness, let's put here 0.092. Alright, and now we have this effect going on. So let's bring a little bump over to this Voronoi texture. Right now, what we just need to do is to use this position over here. Let's add here a bump. Alright, we have here a bump, and let's connect this bump to the displacement, just like that. And right now, this is in the strength, we want this in the normal. And right now, we have the effect going on. This is a really cool effect because right now we are using the rainbow effect only for the parts that are using this layer weight, and not just that. As we are using the position of our Voronoi texture, every single line will have this rainbow effect, but the center will have the Voronoi texture, you know? So this is a really cool effect, and not just that. Right now we can change really cool stuff. If you don't want to use the rainbow effect, or if you don't want to use the rainbow texture, doesn't really matter, because you can do some really cool changes right over here. You can go and just remove this, and right now we have a really cool effect going on, but we can add here a color ramp, and with this color ramp we can put over here and change the color of this color ramp to another color, like something like this and something like this. And right now we have a really cool effect. But that's not just it, guys. So because we have here a sphere, this sphere is not really high poly and low poly either, but it doesn't really have a lot of polygons, alright guys? So we can use Eevee to create this effect, but if we use a model with more polygons, you will see that we will need to use cycles. So for that I'm gonna show you what happens when we use a different model. If you want to use the same model, you can go in my video, you have here the card, just click it. It's the same video that I was talking about, that is the ghost effect. Go check it out, and in there you have the model that I will use. So to import the model, go over here to File, and here in Import, just import as FBX. Now we have the model imported, so let's just delete these two over here. This model has more polygons than this simple sphere. So what we can see right now is that we have a lot of detail in this model. And right now what we need to do is to go over here to shading. Let's use the same material, just like that, and you can see what happens. Basically it looks really weird right now with only Eevee, because Eevee can't use all details of these polygons to use the effect. So for that we need to use cycles, and you can see right now that it will look much better in cycles. And if you want to put more color in here, you can just bring this down a little bit and you have more color in your effect. And this is a really cool effect and really simple for everyone that likes to create materials. This is a really cool material for you to play around. I just created this like playing around and thinking about something abstract, and I was able to create this material. So if I was able, you can do it too, alright guys? So this was the effect. I hope you guys like this effect and this material. It's a really simple material but a really cool effect in the end. So if you like it, don't forget to give a like and subscribe to the channel. Go check it out my Instagram where you can see all the render projects better, because in a speed modeling video you only have some little time to see the project or to see the render project. If you want to see that kind of render projects and if you want to give me some ideas for videos, go check it out my Instagram page. And not just that guys, go check it out my Patreon page as I was talking in this video. And more important than that guys, don't forget to have fun doing these kind of materials and effects. I'm KNX and I see you in the next video. Bye!